just like Obscura, you can't find a difference too with if you look at them. The DNA of the Suriname guppy was completely different from Reticulata. And this is why I give a description and gave it a different name. I gave it the name in honor of my friend Michael. It's Basilia kemkesi, because it's different. If you look at the DNA, it's different. And if it's different, it should have a different name. That was my only thought. So what is the situation? 4 species now. You got your Basilia reticulata, the wingy, the obscura, and your kemkesi. Mind you, this one, and this one, if you see them in an aquarium, you have to guess. The only way to be sure what species of guppy you have in your aquarium is to get some DNA, put them in the mailbox, send them to Shories, Meyer or Sartel, and they will find out what your species is. That's not very easy, of course. For us hobbyists, we just don't know. We give it a name, and the only one that really shows itself is the wingy. Those really nice metallic colors. In wild populations, you only find there. But DNA also doesn't give you many answers. It also gives you a lot of questions. This year there was a study, population structure of guppies, the area of putative incipient speciation. Here's that word again, incipient speciation. They do not acknowledge that there are different species. There are species to be. Because what they found when they were looking at those guppy populations and examined the DNA, that all the DNA was getting mixed. So they say, well, it's species. They still share DNA. They will become species, but because they share DNA, it's still one different species. Let's think back. We find Cumana guppies, incipient guppies, in the sewer. How did they get there? I can tell you how they got there. It's also in our paper. People take nice guppies from the Paria Peninsula, have them at home, and you know what happens with guppies. You have 2, and then you have 20, and then you have 2,000. So what do you do with the other 1,800? You flush down the toilet. And apparently people in the western part of Cumana, could be one person who did this. And yes, you flush them down the toilet, they get into the sewers, they survive, and yes, they mix with normal guppies. It's what's happening in your aquariums too. You might have hybrids all the time. This is something apparently that these people, here's Alexander again and Felix Breeden again, apparently do not get. If you flush down your guppies, they will mix. They also went to the Campoma region and found reticulata DNA over there. Like, these people do not take guppies from somewhere and flush them down the toilet. It's happening everywhere. Before the year 2000, there were hardly any guppies in French Guiana. I saw guppies from Cayenne in this exhibition. People transport guppies to other parts of the world. We have Brazilian guppies, guppies from Peru, from Mexico, Jamaica.
And the whole open.
This is the whole thing. Yes, you find guppy DNA everywhere, but not because they are trying to be another species. It's because they already mix. Now, you can see this in these pictures. Incipient speciation means you've got one species trying to become two different species. What I think is the exact opposite, which is called despeciation. You have two species, and yes, if you flush them down the toilet, they will become one species. And yes, if we wait long enough, we will end up with one species, and we will call it Poeser reticulata. This is the hard truth. This is what's happening. We spoil environments everywhere. So yes, also in South America, we don't do this consciously, like, let's destroy this species. No, there's no evil genius behind this. But it's the hard truth. We are despeciating the world, and although I can say it's all kind of different species, in the end, if we go on like this, they will mix. So this fourth species, this Poeser kempkesi that I gave a name, might already be gone. Because, as I just also heard, people from Suriname say, yeah, we catch these guppies, big tails, small tails, all kinds of guppies. And also, when I was there, I also caught females with color in their tail, spots on their bodies. Then I say, these are, commercial guppies. Singapore guppies, which, of course, a bit ridiculous. It's in the natural habitat of the guppies, and they are beautiful in itself, but they import guppies from Singapore. And yes, also Suriname people flush them down the toilet if there are too many of them. And they mix with the local population, and they will wipe out local population. Which is an uneasy truth, but this is what is going on. We don't have any more time. I would go on and on and on and on, and next week we can also talk about the Micropoecilia species, but I see that I've extended my time already.